Well, art was always a big part of me. I was exposed to it early on, and I was just born interested in art. When I was a child, I was very happy when I see a piece of white paper and a pencil or colored crayons or whatever. And you know, I was there up till I was 14 years old, and I remember very well that I was drawing every day. It was just a compulsive things that come from within. So, and I also was exposed to a lot of arts, you know, in the Khmer culture. Just down the street from where I grew up, there were men who were painting large tableaus of images of movies, scenes. Basically, it's movie posters painted by hands by these men. And I used to be so fascinated by it when I go across the street whenever my mother isn't calling and looking for me, to go and watch them. And it's very interesting. I was very curious, and I always thought that I could do whatever I see people do. I wanted to do it too. Like, for instance, my brother was majoring in engineering. I feel that there was no doubt if he could do it, I could do it. So my brother was drawing, I was drawing, and then on top of it, my mother was always making clothes, and there was no department stores where we can go buy clothes back in the old days, you know. So everything was handmade, and so I was always very soothing to be creating things. I make my own toys and things like that. I knit and I crochet. But the exposure to architecture was actually, you know, Angkor Wat. Everyone just, it's a national pride, you know. So I visited Angkor Wat when I was young, and seeing the temples and things like that. But I never knew that I had it in me to be interested in architecture. And then later, when I was engaged to my fiance, who became my husband, his father was building a home in Woodside, California. He had this beautiful piece of property, and he did very well for himself. He was a very successful man that can afford to do this big project, and it was a very large home. So I watched that whole process, that whole construction process, and when the project was done, it was just this magnificent home. It looks like a beautiful, I want to say spaceship, but it's not. It's very contemporary, but yet has all these old world elements in it. And it's later I learned that it's even far more beautiful than any of the Frank Lloyd Wright's homes that I've seen in books and magazines. So I was very inspired by it, and I thought that I want to create something like that, but in a small scale. Of course, we can't afford that for my family. And so I start drafting and sketching floor plans and designs for a remodeling of our old ranch home that we were living in. So at that time, I was already have already left my engineering degree to be a stay-home mom. So when the boys are sleeping, I'm up learning cat drawings from a software, $30 software that I bought from Barnes & Noble's. I think it was called 3D Homes, and I was playing with it, and it was just like, instead of doing jigsaw puzzles, that's what I do. And finally we had enough money to rebuild that home, and it became my life's masterpiece. And I put my heart and soul to it, and we hired the same architect, the same builder that built my father-in-law's home. And we hired a very well-known architect to help finish my plan. So I learned a lot from him, and I learned a lot from the builder. So after we finished the home, I was quite happy with it, and the neighbors saw it, and one of the friends said, I want to rebuild my home too, and would you come and help me, and I will pay you. And I was very excited, and because you can imagine, it was, I realized my natural talents and interests and new passion. So I spent another 2 years helping this friend with her home, and had to form my business in order to get legitimately being paid. So Chenda Design was formed, and that was back in 2003, and later turned into an LLC in 2004. And it so happened that West Valley College, right in my neighborhood, has the best design program in the Bay Area. So I went back to college again, and when my kids are in school, I'm in school too, and so I got my degree in interior design and certification and became a certified designer. And that's how it all started.